it's Lindsay Ann. Happy holidays! Today we are making all of my favorite holiday desserts wrapped up into one little muffin with my eggnog cheesecake stuffed glazed pumpkin spice muffins with a gingerbread crust. So today we're turning ordinary pumpkin spice muffins into eggnog cheesecake muffins that are filled with eggnog cheesecake with a gingerbread crust and a cream cheese eggnog glaze. These are totally going to impress all your family and friends, and they're really simple to make. So we're going to start with the filling, and it's a cream cheese based filling. So here's an 8-ounce block of cream cheese, and we're just going to blend this up until it's nice and smooth. You want to make sure it's room temperature so you don't have any lumps and clumps. It gets really smooth and creamy fast if it's at room temperature. So make sure you pull this out of the fridge about a half hour before you start baking. And then we're just going to add in a cup of powdered sugar. And this is going to sweeten up our cream cheese filling. Just add it in a little bit at a time. There we go. Until it's nice and incorporated. I have my mixer on low speed so it's not puffing up in my face. So once it's nice and incorporated, you can add in, I have a pinch of salt in here and it's really going to cut the sweetness, and I have some cinnamon and cloves and nice spices to really give it that eggnog flavor. A little nutmeg in there. And here we have some vanilla extract. And you can add a little rum extract flavoring if you want to give it that true classic eggnog taste. And then I'm just going to add a little splash of eggnog, maybe a tablespoon, just to really get that flavor in there. And then you can crank up the speed to get it really nice and fluffy. All right. So this is going to double as our cheesecake filling and our eggnog cheesecake glaze. So once you have it nice and blended and there's no lumps and clumps, all right, that looks good. We're going to turn our mixer off, and I'm just going to scrape down the sides of the bowl and get any of that powdered sugar stuck onto the sides. And then I'm just going to take about a 1/4 cup, and I'm going to put this aside for our glaze for later. That should be enough. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to put our filling on top of our gingerbread cookie crust. So how I do that is I just take this small little cookie scoop. You can also use 2 spoons if you want. And we're going to be making 12 of these muffins today. So you just take a little dollop and put it right on top of the cookie. And we're going to do these for each of the cookies, and then we're going to pop them in the freezer. You want to freeze them until they're nice and firm, so at least 15 minutes. I usually pop them in there for an hour or 2 while I'm preparing the batter and getting everything else ready in the oven preheated. You just want to make sure it's nice and firm so when you bake them, you have that nice cheesecake filling to bite into. So I'm going to finish these up, and then we'll get to work on the muffin batter and the glaze. So now that our filling is in the freezer firming up, we're going to put together the glaze and the muffin batter, and then we're going to check on our filling, put it all together, and get it in the oven. So for our glaze, we're going to take the filling that we set aside, and we're just going to thin it out with a few tablespoons of eggnog. And you just give it a little stir, and you can add as little or as much as you like, depending on how thin you want your glaze. I kind of like it a little bit thicker, so it drips down the side of the muffin, but still holds its shape. So you're just going to stir that until it's nice and smooth, and that will be our glaze that we're going to dunk the muffins in after they've baked and cooled a little bit. And it's really yummy. So there's that nice, creamy, smooth consistency. So we're just going to set the glaze aside, and I'm going to just put together the muffin batter. Today I'm using Crusty's pumpkin spice mix. This mix is amazing. These are like the moistest, most delicious, perfectly spiced pumpkin muffins, and you don't have to deal with getting those cans of pureed pumpkin. It's already in the mix. So we're just gonna add the 2/3 cup of water, and we're just gonna mix together a 1/3 cup of oil and 1 large egg. And I just wanna give that a little whisk before I dump it into the batter, just to get everything evenly combined. And you wanna use room temperature eggs. They break up so much easier and get evenly dispersed much easier than cold eggs that hold their shape a little bit more. And we're just gonna mix that together until it's just moistened. We don't wanna overbeat it because we want light, fluffy, tender muffins. We don't want them to be overmixed and get too chewy and rubbery. So we're just gonna get most of the lumps out. So we've prepared our muffin batter, we have our glaze ready to go, our filling is in the freezer firming up, and we're just gonna pull that out once it's ready, put it all together, and then we can get it in the oven and start baking. All right, so now I've taken my filling topped cookies out of the freezer, they're nice and firm, and I'm just gonna place one in the bottom of every well of the cupcake pan. And this is gonna create that gingerbread crust with the cheesecake filling on top. And then we're just going to take our batter and scoop it right on over the muffins. I'm doing this with just an ice cream scoop. You can also use 2 spoons if you'd like. And you wanna also make sure that your muffin pan is greased well so they don't stick. And just make sure that all the filling is covered so it doesn't peek out when it bakes. And these, you can fill up to the top because the muffins rise really nicely and you're not gonna get any overflow. So just fill each of the cups up. Almost done here. Alrighty, it makes 12 perfect muffins. So I'm gonna get these in the oven, bake them for 14 to 16 minutes until they're nice and puffy and perfectly baked. And then we're gonna dip them in the glaze and dig in. Alrighty, see you in a few. So the muffins baked up, fantastic. I love that kind of crackly, crispy muffin top that baked up. And this one, you can kind of see a little bit of the cheesecake poking through. And I didn't do that on purpose, but I kind of like how it turned out. And I'm dying to break this open to show you guys. The filling inside. They turned out absolutely perfect. You can see the layers of goodness with the cookie and the filling and the muffin on top. So now what we're gonna do is glaze them with the glaze we prepared. And we're just gonna dunk in the tops and let the excess drip off. And then you just put it on a plate and some of it's gonna drip down the sides and look really pretty. And so what you can do with these while the glaze is still wet is you can sprinkle on some of the crushed gingerbread cookies. You can take some red and green sprinkles and put them on top, or just anything you want to give it a nice festive touch. Maybe some chopped up dried cranberries, some chopped walnuts, anything with a nice holiday touch to it. So these are beautiful as is. That glaze is so good. And I'm dying to dig into one of these and let you guys know how it is. So usually you're gonna let the glaze set, but I can't wait. So I'm just gonna take a bite of one of these. This is being a little girl at Christmas Eve, with a glass of eggnog in your hand, a plate of gingerbread cookies in front of you, and a pumpkin pie baking in the oven. It's like all the flavors of the holidays wrapped into this one perfect little package. And I like to bake them without the baking liners so you can kind of see the whole muffin and have a really nice homemade look to it. These are amazing. If you guys want to see more recipes, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel or connect with me online for more baking tips, ideas, and holiday inspiration. Thanks for stopping by. See you guys next time.